Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Good night. Please let me know, just as always, that you can hear me, see my screen, that everything's fine with connection. By the way, I'm over Wi-Fi now. Probably if something is wrong, I should use cable connection, which I assume to be more stable. Just put your pluses, reactions, and so on, maybe somewhere in live streaming channel. I will copy the link here. Please give me a second. Okay, I can see now. Good. So probably to not waste time, we should start. Anyway, for those who forgot about today's stream or wasn't able to join, recording will be available just as always. So yeah, nothing is lost here. But first of all, I would like to remind you that usually we don't do that, but this makes development experience better for you. Assignment simple CRUD API has been updated. You now allowed to use different kind of bundlers, linters, and formatters. I assume there is no problem with using ESLint and Prettier, but it was about Webpack because many people use different bundlers, and yeah, Webpack was just example of bundlers that could be used. So I thought that probably you can use something else that you prefer as well. So yeah, if you were struggling with Webpack, now you can use something like Vite, or I don't know what you like more. Yeah, and that's all about news and updates. Let's begin with assignment review. So today we will take a look at the solution of your file manager task. Quick reminder that you had to put all your knowledges and hands-on experience pieces together to build this fancy CLI application, which partially mimics Bash CLI and can perform some basic operations over your file system, like moving between directories, listing of directories content, some basic operations with files, like create new file, read file content, copy file, move file, rename it, delete. To get it also has capability to get some information about file system. It's already familiar to you, and calculate hash and compress and decompress files. So operations are pretty basic. Main difficulty in this assignment from my point of view was to put everything together correctly and make it work as a comprehensive application with some error handling, with separation of layers that are responsible for different parts of file manager functionality and so on. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that memories about this assignment are pretty fresh in your head. So let's proceed with review. So let's begin. We have package.json file, and why is it important for us? We still don't have any kind of external dependencies, but we need to specify entry point here, yeah, because we, according to the assignment, we have start script, which should also accept some parameters like username, and anyway our application has to begin somewhere. So this is our entry point is main.js file. So let's take a look at this. What happens here? Here app class is initialized. It receives standard input and standard output as parameters, and also it receives username. And after that, app run method is called. So just as usual, I left some comments. From my point of view, it's good that we have application logic and application instantiation. One second. It seems that my mouse got dry. Yeah. So as I told, it's good that we have some kind of encapsulation of application logic and instantiation somewhere. It allows us to configure what we use as product as a standard input stream, what we use as standard output stream, how we get username and how we provide it to our application. Probably if we had multiple instances of this application, we could easily initialize it by multiple calling of new application API. So yeah, it's really good. So let's take a look at app.js, which contains main class that has our application. What do we see here? We have class app, which has some private properties like readline, username. They are not really private because they don't have this hash annotation. So probably if we want to make it really private from JavaScript perspective, we should use this hash annotation for private method and properties. But in general, it's fine. Because in TypeScript it's rarely used. TypeScript has its own definition for private, public, and protected properties, which works a bit different way from how it works in JavaScript, but still. But if you look for something that you could improve in current implementation, that's probably it. So constructor of class accepts parameters. It creates a readline interface, which is from my point of view, the best way to handle user input is this task, because it's specifically designed to handle some inputs line by line. And when we are working with user input, we are working with readable stream. I mean readable size of duplex stream that represents process stdin, standard Node.js process input, but readline creates some handy abstractions for you to work with it convenient way. So yeah, we initialize interface, create some completer that allows us to see available commands, and for prompt we have this two signs that will be at the beginning of each prompt from user. What does run method that we used in main.js? It changes directory to current user home directory. Yeah, we have a home directory API from OS module. It prints welcome message. It runs request for next user prompt, and it also sets event listener for line event of readline interface, which will be emitted when user prints something into command line interface when we request user to do so. And it also handles exit event, which prints goodbye message when this event happens. It's a process event. Okay. Let's take a look at, I don't know, let's take a look at print welcome message. So we have some helpers here, which prints welcome message, which prints goodbye message, help message, prints current working directory, and also we have creation for completer function, which accepts list of commands and try to find hits in user input to suggest relevant commands, which is pretty good. About get username. about get username. Okay, I didn't left comments above, but we have it here. We use parse args from Node.util module, and this is stuff that I already mentioned for you during review of your first assignment, because yeah, you can handle command line arguments manually with pure JavaScript the way you like, but in general, Node.js already has inbuilt utility stuff to do it. So you can see that we can extract certain options from command line. Yeah, we extract the username option. We define that this is type of string. We can provide some default value for this, and it's better from my point of view than writing this logic by your own. You can do it every time you know that there is inbuilt Node.js API that doesn't require additional dependencies. For example, you have UID package, but you still have a random UID in crypto module of Node.js. So why do you need another external library which can be buggy, which increases size of your bundle, which can be vulnerable to some malicious injections if you can use core Node.js API. So definitely thumb up for using Node.js core module. Minor comment about this anonymous constant. Just as every stuff, if something is static and doesn't depend on function parameters, probably it can be defined outside of the function. So you don't need to put it inside of the function. And also one minor comment here. Logic here is correct in general, so it handles empty username string. It handles, it checks that we actually have something in username. But from my point of view, there is too many logic inside of one line, so probably you could split it into some reusable not reusable, but just in different variables. So you can extract check for presence of username here inside of is username valid, and then you can use a ternary expression over this is username valid constant, which is pretty same, and it will be minified to the same code, but it's better to read and easier to understand. At least you can do it faster. Okay, so let's go back to our app code. Yeah, I forgot to mention that it's okay to use class here because it contains some initialization that provides reusable stuff for other methods, but I'm not really sure that we really need class here. Maybe it could be just a function that initializes some interface and returns application interface, and returns its descriptor to terminate it, but just talking with you about alternatives. About this handle line function that is used to handle line event, I remind you that it accepts user input. From my point of view, it would be better to make naming a bit more semantic. So yeah, we are handling line event, but we are not just handling some abstract line event, we handle user input. So why not to name this method handle user input, so it will be clear what it's working with. So here, if you know JavaScript, I'm pretty sure you understand what happens here. So we get input as line, we trim white spaces on both sides of it, then we split it by white spaces, and first part would be our comment, and rest stuff is about our arguments. Then we get commands available for our command from user input. Yeah, you can see that commands map is something that has command data and key command name. So Yeah, you can see this mapping. And if we didn't find a suitable comment, we just print invalid input message. After that, we have this print of empty string, which we really need to print empty line after this invalid input message. So probably it would be better to leave some comment here, like we need this print with empty string to print empty line, or I don't know, maybe add some empty line here to the stuff that we actually try to print. Then we print help message and call in next prompt request, because we need to get data from user. So command is executed. Then in case if execution was successful, we call next prompt, and otherwise we call on command rejected. Alternatively, async function could be used here. So we could work with promise with async away syntax, but here it's very good for reading. It's clear what happens here. And only problem with this stuff is that probably it may have issue if command runs slowly. Then probably we would be able to print multiple commands run multiple commands in parallel, which may cause concurrency issues. But I'm not really sure, because what I can see is that we request next prompt after resolution of command promise. So maybe I'm not correct, but anyway, in real world, if your application makes some concurrent stuff, you should think about what happens if I don't know. At the same time, application will try to perform deletion of some file and renaming of it. So how should we handle these concurrent calls? And maybe ensure that at least that we perform not more than one operation at the same time. But this is minor suggestion for possible future improvement if you are interested in it. So on command reject, we print error message, or we print a message for unknown error if we are not able to identify it, and request the next prompt once again. And next prompt, where do we get next prompt? This next prompt. Yeah, here we have next prompt. We print empty line, print current working directory, and then request a prompt from read line. Okay. Good. Looks just fine. I will switch to the Discord view. Maybe you have some questions to it. Not really. Okay, so if you have some questions to this assignment or any other questions, please write it to live streaming channel, and we will proceed with review. Okay, so let's take we reviewed main application, let's say orchestrator. We took a look at some helpers, and let's see how our command definition works, how do we provide arguments to correct command, and so on. So let's switch to student view. First of all, we import all available command handlers and some constants that contains error messages and so on to avoid duplication. We create commands map, which is JavaScript map, And then we have a function define command, which checks if command is already defined in map. If yes, it throws error that prevents us from the overriding of already defined command. Otherwise, it creates a record in map, which maps command name to command data. And then we have multiple calls of define command. So each command has a group. Each command has name, each command has a handler that executes on command call and description. And we have multiple define command call for all of this stuff. And also for OS command, we additionally have some arguments. It's okay, but in general, take into account that we do not have necessity of define commands programmatically on the fly. Yeah, I mean, we do not have such functionality that, okay, I want to add my custom command, which does something that I want to. We have a predefined list of commands, so probably you could not define command function, and you could just write everything here in line inside of commands map. But okay, it's a bit more extendable. Okay, we took a look at how commands are mapped to their handlers, and you already seen that how commands map is used. Just a quick reminder that we import it here, and we get command depending on user input. So we have some shared stuff like definition. Sorry, we don't want getlines here. We have some shared stuff like definition of commands, definition of arguments, some aggregation of these commands, placeholders for them, and error messages. It's really good because I always tell you that you should avoid magic values code smell. It's anti-pattern. You should do multiple changes if you need to fix or change something. So it's really better to have everything in one place and change it in one place if it's necessary. We have some custom errors, which is also good practice. You can have your own error classes that extends basic default error, and you can separate handling of such errors from handling of unknown errors. Yeah, you can check that your error is instance of invalid input error or invalid operation error, and perform some operations depending on error type. We also have types here. Types, as I can see, types are JSDoc types, which is good, but probably you don't need this kind of specification for JSDocs. Take into account that we will work with TypeScript soon. But if you found time to implement it, it's okay. Thank you. And also we have some util stuff, which is really generic. We have a print function, which works as a wrapper over console log and allows us to print messages with certain colors. We have some stuff to resolute paths to our objects in file system. We have some handlers that util handlers to check that path exists, that it's a directory, that it's file. We have some utility function try promise, which accepts asynchronous function and tries to execute it and catches error and handles it if error happened. We have the same stuff for synchronous function, and we have some functions that throws our errors. By the way, I don't remember whether it was used somewhere. Oh, it was. Okay, good. Uh, in general, I don't like generic names like utils, helpers. Probably it's better to name it more semantically, like, I don't know, pass operations, print operations, and if it's used, just in case, if it's used in one or two places, it's better to put it closer to the places where it's used. But print function and those handlers, they are really reused across all the application. So I think except name of file with utils, it's okay. They are in place and they are used correctly. Okay, so what else do we have? We have some session related stuff. Student implemented help command. I will show you how it works. npm start, let's provide username Maxim, and I can print help command and see available list of commands. So this function is a bit complex because we get available commands. Yeah, we get available commands, we get its description, arguments, somehow concatenate it and do pretty printing. You can see code on the screen. I'm not sure that it makes many sense to deeply review it, taking into account that this is not our main functionality. What I can see is that it has some small sections misalignment. I mean, here definition of commands start at this level, here it start at this level, here at this, at this, at this. But in general, it looks really good. It looks fine. Probably if it was at the same level, it would be like 5% better, but it's really good that we have it here anyway. Okay. What else do we have inside of help? I believe there is a function, there is a problem with this function. We have promise here, but what we do here is totally synchronous. Yeah, and function help is also asynchronous for some reason. So if everything inside of function is synchronous, you don't need to make it asynchronous, really. So how it works, we initialize promise, and we do synchronous stuff inside, and after that we call resolve. So it's definitely, it's 100% not necessary. And let's take a look at function exit. I'm not sure it's called somewhere. Yeah, it's not used from what I can see. Exit, import exit. Sorry, it's used as exit command to perform exit from our operation. Okay. Okay. Anyway, not sure that we need promise here. I mean, I'm absolutely sure that we don't need asynchronous function and promise here because stuff is synchronous. Yeah. But anyway, okay, we have separated function to just do process exit. And in general, you don't need this complex stuff. Process is available as a global variable, so you can just call process exit and do not. Maybe you even don't need this exit helper. Maybe inside of commands definition, you could just do something like this. Process exit, and it would work the same way. Yeah, but okay, maybe it was intended to be more complex initially. Okay, we took a look at how we print help. How do we define commands, how we print some auto-completions. Let's take a look at commands logic itself, and let's start from file system commands. First command that we are going to review is add command. So how it works? This function accepts target pass argument, and yeah, this handling of target pass argument is still correct. I mean, it's identified as string. So you may be curious, why do we need checking of presence of target pass, but empty string is also a valid value, so we still can check it. And yeah, probably it could be undefined, so maybe we should define type something like this. But at least if it's not checked previously. And then we call await try promise, so we try to write file, and if error appears, we handle it using throw invalid operation error. Which is very good, and we do not perform multiple operations. We add flag A, which allows you to throw error if file already exists. Let me check assignment. Do we have such requirement? Let me check. Okay. Create empty file in current working directory. Okay, good. Maybe we should try to run it. Start. I'm currently in my working directory. Add some file.txt. Okay. If we try to do it multiple times, some file.txt. Okay. Yeah, there was no such requirement of throwing errors. What I left as review comment here? Probably nothing. It creates a really good way to handle command, and we use some reusable abstractions for different command. Let's take a look at cut command, which prints file content. So we firstly check the target pass is not empty string, then we try to resolve it. After that, we check that pass that we are trying to use as target exists, that this is file. If some of the options is not correct, then we throw invalid operation error. Otherwise, we try to create readable stream and put it inside of our standard output. And we handle it using pipeline, namely premisified version of pipeline, and we handle it with try promise utility. So it looks really good, except one thing. Maybe you have some thoughts about it. If yes, please write your thoughts in live streaming channel. What is the problem with this code? Specifically with this part. What do you think about adding error message to errors instead of just adding template const string? Nikolai, I'm not sure about which code are you talking about. You mean errors, helpers? I saw something like this somewhere. Maybe inside of helpers here, or inside of application code on reject, probably error message. I'm not sure that there is no duplication somewhere. In general, you may have layered handling of errors, And maybe sometimes you need initial error message for subsequent investigation, but it's used a different way because from a certain version of AppMaxScript you have cause property inside of error instances, and you can put original error there. So you may have error the kind you need, but you will have this cause property which will contain original error. That will help you to investigate it. In general, yeah, you could just throw the same error no matter what happens because it satisfies assignment criteria. It's not an error, but the way it's done here is also fine and valid. Only if there is no duplication. Okay. As I can see, you don't have thoughts about what problem is with this code, so I will do it for you. So probably checks here duplicate one another. What do I mean? If we checked that some path contains file and is file returned to us true, probably it already means that such path exists and we do not need to check both. So from my point of view, path exists check is redundant here and not necessary. And yeah, about code style, it's usually done by some linter plus formatter combination, but you should prefer either named or default imports across all your code base. So in add you used named imports. In cat you used import everything as utils. Probably you should be more consistent. Okay, let's take a look at CP function, which copies your source to destination. It looks pretty same, except the fact that we have more checks, and we check that resolved source is file, then we check that destination exists, and then we check that destination is directory. And once again, if destination is directory, probably it means that this destination exists. So this second check could be removed. If something is wrong, we throw invalid operation error. If everything is fine, we try to resolve path to destination. Specifically to destination folder using base name API call. And then once again, we create readable stream. We pipe it into writable stream to destination, and then we use premissified pipeline to handle this operation for us. Very good and beautiful, except this excessive check. Okay, let's take a look at make directory function. It's pretty same as add. It looks the same way. We try promise, we try to create directory and throw invalid operation error if something is wrong. So looks fine, no comments from my side. Let's take a look at move function. So this is basically a combination of two operations, copy and removal. Probably try promise should include CP as well. It looks like it's not covered by this try promise utility. So probably I would put this API call inside of this handler. But yeah, in general it also looks okay, except this fact. And yeah, probably you could okay. CP has this handling of error itself. So yeah, and it's also good that student reused existing API here, because as I mentioned, move API is a combination of copy and then deletion of source. Okay, we have rm function which simply removes file from target path, which looks pretty same as add. And also we have rename function, which is also pretty same. We rename stuff, and if error happens, we throw invalid operation error. So this looks good, consistent, and avoids duplication where it's not necessary. So I like it. I like how it looks like. Okay, next section is okay, I mean in operation files, as I can see now, utils throw invalid operation put only prints code string error if something goes wrong. Oh, yeah, that's what assignment asks us to do. So I don't really see problem here. We expected to see some static string regardless of what error is. So if you are talking about a bit complicated implementation, yes, this is true, but in real world it would look more like this and not like just print static string in console. So it's fine. Okay, next section is operating system information. Let's take a look how it works. So we have some helpers which performs operation for us. So probably it should be part of main OS folder, or I don't know, maybe commands. I don't like names like helpers and utils. They are too generic. But what happens here? We define a map with handlers, then we set handlers to this map, and we use promise inside of main functions and handles OS command. And once again, I don't get why do we need promise, because all the stuff that we use here is synchronous. Yeah, we just print some constant from core module. We call CPU's function, which is also synchronous, and print it after some transformations. We print home directory from synchronous function, user info from synchronous function, and architecture from synchronous function. So you do not need promise here 100% once again. So yeah, we try to get a handler for our OS operation parameter. If we don't find it, we reject promise with new invalid input error, and if we didn't use promise, we could just reuse this throw invalid input error handler. And after that we do try catch here. We try to call handler, then we resolve promise if no errors, and if there is some error, we throw invalid operation error. Sorry, too many error words coming out of my mouth, but still I have questions about why do we need promise here and why do we need try catch here. To be honest, what we do is just calling some APIs that always return something, or printing imported constants. So if we do not expect it to fail, probably we don't need to put try catch everywhere. So this one is a bit excessive from my point of view. Okay, so we are done with OS section. Next one is about hash calculation. Let's take a look at it. It's hidden inside of hash file. Let's firstly take a look at initial implementation. So we create hash instance. We create readable stream that reads data from input pass. Then we handle readable event. On the handling of readable event, we read some data. If we have some data, then we update our hash with it. Otherwise, we print hash and resolve promise. And we also handle errors on errors of readable stream by rejecting this promise. Okay. In general, it looks okay from the first glance, but I have some suggestions for improvement. But before doing that, I'm talking non-stop for about 45 minutes. I need small technical pause. So stay tuned. I will be back in 3 minutes. Okay, we are back online. I hope you are still with us. Let me check connection. Yes, everything is fine. Okay, let's move on. I left some comments here as well. Um, so there are different ways to get data from readable stream. Yeah, if you uh, if you were attentive enough while reading Node.js documentation, you know that you can do it manually by calling input read API call in some, I don't know, maybe in some loop, maybe on handling of readable event, or you can handle data event. So in general, readable event handling provides you a bit more control because it doesn't contain part of the data. It it sends you signal that we have some data available to be read, and you need to perform this input read operation manually. But we have a very simple case. We just read some source file chunk by chunk, and probably handling of data event would be easier for us and suits our case just fine. Yeah, it has a small advantage, but maybe not advantage that you can have uh, put in data inside of the hash and termination of your source code at the same place, which might look good, but probably this function breaks single responsibility principle because it does two things. It updates hash and it also prints final hash to console. So probably it would be better to split it. You may handle data event with for hash updation, and also you can subscribe to end event, and on end event you print your ready hash to console. Yeah, and subscription to error event is okay. This is a place where using of promise probably fine, but you could also use pipeline for this functionality, because create hash is just transform stream and probably I am wrong, forget it, because it would print hash chunk by chunk. That's not what we need. And also we have another function hash, which is not calculate hash. Okay. I was curious, why do we need this separated hash function, and this comment is also incorrect because it uses calculate hash under the hood. And yeah, we have this redundant check once again, because if something is file, it exists for sure. Okay, so this is all I have to say about this hash module. Next section is about compress and decompress operations. This is last one. Sorry, not last one. We have to take a look at navigation. So let's take a look at compress. So we check presence of arguments, try to resolve paths, check that stuff exists in our file system at the moment, and if everything is fine and all checks are passed and all paths are resolved, then we put source through transform stream to destination. And decompress function contains pretty same logic, except the presence check, and that we use create broadly decompress instead of create broadly compress. Let's take a look at the comments I left. Yeah, is directory is enough here and here, and everything else looks just fine. So let's check last part of our commands. It's about navigation. We have cd command. So we check input, then we try to resolve path, check that path exists, and after that we try to change directory to this path. I'm not really sure that we need to check that path exists. Probably change directory should throw error if such directory doesn't exist. Let's check it in REPLs. Okay, const change dir. We import it from path. Sorry, not process. Yeah, and we don't need to import it. And let's try to change directory to something non-existent. Yeah, it throws error that no such file or directory exists. So probably you can skip this check and not perform multiple API calls. Okay, app command really changes directory to app. To upper one, probably you could reuse cd as well, just the way you did inside of move command handling. But it's up to you because this is really one line of code. And promise is not necessary once again because this operation is synchronous. You don't need to wrap everything in a synchronous function or promises. And about list function, okay, I can see that I left some comments here. So we try to check, try to get a directory comment. Namely, we try to read current working directory with file types. If we do not have entities, we throw invalid operation error. Then we filter entities to get separation between files and directories, and then we use console table to print it the way it was in assignment. Yeah, that's what you had to check yourself. So we have this console table thing. It should contain objects with name and type or any other stuff you need. And it prints this as a table. So maybe you need more, like name, another name, and type, another type. So you can see that Node.js creates a table for you. You don't need to do it manually, like with help command. Okay. So from my point of view, we have space for improvement with this code. How do you think what it is, what it could be? I will wait a little bit. No, nobody wants to say something. Okay. Uh, then I will do it myself. Not a problem. So, sorry, don't save. Okay. So we have some excessive operations over our different objects collection. Yeah, because we perform filtering 2 times, but really we could use reduce. We could create some accumulator, which will be object with 2 collections for directories and files. And instead of doing it twice, we can iterate over this collection of dirents once and check if our current dirent is directory, then we push it to directories. Otherwise, if it's file, then we push it to files. Otherwise, we don't push it anywhere. I remind you that some directory can be many different things. Yeah, you can check. You can check file system documentation, if I'm not mistaken. Durant. Yeah, you can see that it can be block device, character device, directory, FIFO. I mean, it's FIFO-Q. It can be file, socket, symbolic link. So yeah, if something is not file, it doesn't always mean that this is directory. So ternary check would not be correct. Checking by explicitly calling method is directory or is file is really better. Um, and yeah, then we had to sort the stuff. And put it in certain order. And also, I was curious about to sorted method because it works the same way as sort works, but it creates copy of array. But take into account that we have two different arrays, probably we do not need to use to sort it because it will require some additional memory. Instead, we can sort these separated arrays with usual sort method. So it's nice that you know about to sort it, but you don't really need it here. It creates excessive memory usage. So, in general, everything is covered inside of this work. It has good modular system. Uh, Probably what can be improved, except excessive checks, unnecessary asynchronous stuff, and so on. Probably you could create more layers for functionality separation. I mean, your function that handles comment, it does everything. Yeah, it tries to validate presence of arguments, it resolves paths, it performs separation. So maybe at least pre-validation of parameters can be at some different layer, a little bit upper, just after we receive user input. So probably it could be there inside of handling line. So you could not check that, not only check that comment exists, you could also check here that this comment has proper input, because from my point of view, it belongs here where we work with CLI. And only after we ensure that we have everything we need, we should pass it to the down level to handler which performs separation. But in general, it's very good work. It's beautiful. It has help. It also has auto completion. I mean, pm start. So if I try to print something, yeah, I print C, then I press tab, and I have list of suggestions because of this completer function, which is really good, nice, and beautiful. Okay, do you have some questions to file manager assignment? And if not, we will move forward to task issuances. Irakli is writing. Okay. While you are writing, I will open subsequent assignments. And also, I will search for demo. Search for demo. Just general question. Answers as professional would be very encouraging for me. Do we always advocate following single responsibility principle? Is it practical? Yeah, from my point of view, this is good principle which is included in Solid, and yeah, it's better if you have if unit of your code, I mean function, module, method, whatever, if it has a single responsibility, it's better because you can always decompose your code into multiple units, which and every unit follows single responsibility principle. Yeah, from my point of view, yes. Okay, let's discuss one of your next assignments. Let's talk about CRUD API. CRUD stands for Create, Read, Update, Delete. It's acronym, and you need to implement API using your beloved pure Node.js once again. Because all fancy stuff like Express, Fastify, Nest.js, anything else, it uses core Node.js APIs under the hood, so you have to understand how it works internally. Just to not see Nest.js as some kind of tricky magic and something has happened there and you don't have any idea how it works. So, you have to implement API that accepts runs locally. You don't need to deploy it. It accepts requests with different methods. It accepts get request, post request, put request, and delete requests. And you are working with users. Users are objects which have following properties. ID. This is a unique identifier. It's a UID, and it's generated on server side. Under no conditions you should provide it in your request for user creation or update. I mean, inside of the body, you should not generate it on client. You should not be able to overwrite it. This is unique identifier which created on server side, and it's created once, and it's immutable for each of your users. We also have username, which is name of the user. Surprisingly, we have age, which is user age, which is just a number property, and we have array of user hobbies. It's an array of strings or empty array. So you can see that three of these properties are required for update or create of user, and you have a very good explanation how your API is expected to behave. So let me show you a small demo. Now I run my API on localhost. So not HTTPS, but HTTP localhost 3000 API users. Okay, you can see that I do not have users initially. If I get users, I just get empty array. So if I try to get some specific user with invalid UID, I receive a bad request because this is definitely not a UID. Let's generate UID. No, it's better to do it our CLI node const random UID require not crypto. Okay, let's run random UID. We have some UID, but this user doesn't exist in our database. Let's try to put it in our path. We received not found error because such user is not found. So let's try to create it. We use post request for this, and endpoint is REST API users. We need to send JSON with corresponding content type. It's created for us automatically. You can see that it's application JSON, but if you don't use Postman, you should not forget to do it manually. Okay, let's try to create user with name. I don't know, maybe I will provide my own name. I will provide my hobbies, I don't know, my hobby is learn about Node.js and make people mad at me. I have two awesome hobbies. But I didn't provide age. Let's try to create such person, and we get bad request because this is invalid. We have required property. So let's provide age as well. It will be 88. I'm pretty old. And yeah. So we've got created response, which stands for 201 status code. And you can see that we accepted some user ID from server. It was generated on server side. I didn't provide it. So if I would like to update my user, I can provide this ID as a pass parameter. And maybe this is John Doe now with different age and without hobbies. Which hobbies are you expected to have at this age, really? Okay, let's try to update it, and now you can see that ID is not changed, but everything else has been updated. And also we can try to request this user individually. We've got awk response with this user. Also, if we will try to get all the users, we will have it inside of the collection. And of course, we can try to delete it once again by using user ID. We've got no content response, and if we will try to get this user individually, or we try to get all the users, we will get empty collection. So basically, this is how it's expected to work. Pretty simple. But we have some additional requirements. First of all, you notice that we have some validation. Yeah, we check that we have proper amount of properties, that their type is correct, that ID of users is UUID, because if it's not UUID, we can close request without passing it down to underlying infrastructure. Also, we should handle requests to non-existent points. For example, if I will try to get data from some API, non-existent something, I should have not found as well. So yeah, basically, if you will try to get some non-existent page on GitHub, you will get the same stuff. What else? If some error happens during handling of request, server should respond with internal server error status code and corresponding human-friendly message. What I mean, you should not provide Node.js, raw Node.js error to user. You should just return some maybe object with message internal server error. Our application is run on certain port, and it should be configured using .env file. And also, you should never commit .env file to repository. You should add it to gitignore. Instead, you should create .env.example file, which will have some predefined configuration. So normally, flow looks like this. User clones your repository, then user can make copy of your .env.example file and cut this .example part, and then put real values inside of .env. So it will never be committed, and we will still have convenience with working with some template values. Also, your application should have two modes of running. It should run in development mode, so you should use nodemon or ts-node-env. And you should have script start dev. And it means that if you make some changes, your application is restarted. It's very useful for working on application if you want to see your changes immediately. And also your application should be able to run in production mode. You should have start prod script for this. So it starts build process and runs bundled file. Also, you can try to implement some API tests. They are integration tests. It differs from unit tests because you will perform real requests, and you need to implement at least three integration testing scenarios. One example of scenario you have here. So you can get all the records with get API users request and check that it's empty on start of the application. Yeah. Then you can create new user and check that response contains proper status code and newly created records. Then you can get this record individually to check that requesting individual user works correctly. Then you can try to update it using put request. And check that server responded to you with updated entity, but with the same ID. Then you can try to delete it and check for response, and then you can try to get it again to ensure that server doesn't return it to you. You can also combine some API calls. You can also check for validation, some different scenarios, but anyway, you should have three test suites. At least three. Maybe you can have more. Also, you can implement horizontal scaling for your application. You already worked with child processes and worker threads. Now you should work with cluster API. Cluster is another Node.js core API, which is very suitable for horizontal scaling of your application. I mean, creating multiple instances, and it works on top of child process API. So if you work with child processes, cluster won't be scary for you. So what you have to do, this is a completely synthetic example just to give you some hands-on experience of horizontal scaling. You should create a master process which will work as a load balancer, and this load balancer should distribute your request across your cluster instances, and it should work using round-robin algorithm. What it means, if you have 5 instances of your server, you should send first request to first one, second to second one, third to third one, fourth to fourth one, fifth to fifth one, and sixth request should once again come to first one. So it's like it sends requests in circle. That's why it's about round robin. And also important thing, it has separated script npm run start multi. Sorry, and your listeners works on different port. Their amount is equal to available parallelism. It's pretty similar to amount of logical cores of your central processor, but it's a little bit more complicated, and it better reflects your available parallelism than just amount of CPUs. But lucky you worked with both APIs. Your data should be consistent between different workers. Actually, they all can work on this under the same port, but I intentionally made it on different ports to make it easier to check the data is consistent. So if you create a user using first instance of your server, for example, on port 4001, you create user. If you try to request it from different instance 4002, you should it should return created user. Yeah, and if you delete it on next instance, first instance shouldn't have it. Please, 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 I beg you, do not send whole database across workers on each request. I've seen many of these solutions. It's not a proper way. Yeah, you should figure out proper way yourself. I even I even allow you to consult with your AI friend for this, but do not let it write code for you. Just give you an idea how you can make consistent storage between different workers. Small hint, it should be some centralized store that will be used by all the workers, not sending whole database between workers on each request, because it's not scalable at all. In real world, you will fail. We do not want this. And we have some score for basic API, for advanced stuff. This task can be implemented either in JavaScript or in TypeScript, but you will get more points if you will try to implement it in TypeScript. So it's I really want you to try to do TypeScript for this. And Hacker Scope, it's about API testing and horizontal scaling. And also you will have some new forfeits. Yeah, hooray! Um, In addition to usage of prohibited tools and breaking deadlines, you will have forfeits for missing pull request or incorrect description. How pull request correct description looks like you can see inside of frequently asked questions channel. You will get forfeit for no separate development branch. You will have forfeit for less than 3 commits in development branch, not including, I mean code commits, not including commits with changes to some configuration files. And if .env file presents in repository, you will have -5 points for this. So please be attentive and careful. Do you have some questions about this assignment? Let me take a look at one. It looks a bit complicated for front-end developers. Where can I find the theory? Basically, you have everything you need inside of Node.js documentation. So please take a look at HTTP module and how it works. Maybe you can read other theory, so I can suggest you only stuff we have in our course module. So there are a lot of information on the internet. Just try to do it, it's easier than you think. If you are already front-end developer, I'm pretty sure you will get it as well. You just need to handle request on server side, check path, check method, check body, and then perform usual JavaScript logic. It's not very complex. Okay, next assignment for you for this week. You actually have 2 of them, so please don't postpone it till the last moment, because it will be really complex for you. They are not big. Probably simple CRUD API is a bit bigger. Task about basic testing is a little bit easier to implement. But anyway, please think about your time and don't postpone it till last moment, and don't forget to submit task before deadline. Okay, so you will use Jest. Why Jest? You might ask it because Node.js has inbuilt test runner, which is pretty simple and good and fast at the same time, but in real world project we use Jest. It has very rich API, very rich ecosystems, good documentation, a lot of examples of how to do certain things. So I'm pretty sure that you need to know how to write unit tests. So you need to fork this repository. And there you will have predefined functions, just like in your basic Node.js assignment, but instead you will have pre-written code inside of index.js file. Yeah, it's also in TypeScript, but don't worry, you only need to write tests, not TypeScript code itself. So you shouldn't touch stuff located in index.js file, but here you have some predefined template for tests. So, for example, in first file you have a calculator function which accepts 3 parameters, a, b, and action. So a, b are some numbers, action is what we are going to do with those numbers. So maybe we want to multiply, divide them, exponentiate, add, subtract, and so on. So you should check that your simple calculator correctly add 2 numbers, correctly subtract, correctly multiply, divide, exponentiate, and if we somehow provided invalid action there, it should return null, and if we somehow provided invalid arguments, I mean a and b or b, it should return null as well. And also you will try to implement table test, because table tests, this is just about the way you write tests. This is not something completely separated, and you always have options. You can create multiple test suites, or if your input or if your tests differ only in input and output, you can create table tests for this using dedicated Jest API. Also, you will try to test functions that resolve value asynchronously, that throw error synchronously, that throw some specific error, that rejects some specific error, and you need to handle erroneous responses as well. You can also try to test class with different methods. We have a bank account class, which represents dummy bank account, which have methods to which initialized with initial balance, and then it has some methods to work with it. So you can get balance, you can increase balance amount, you can get some money from your account, you can try to transfer it to another account, and also you have some asynchronous stuff. You have fetch balance function, which works randomly because you have some chance to have null instead of balance, and you should cover both cases. And you have synchronized balance that uses, oh sorry, I clicked wrong button. And you have synchronized balance method, which uses fetch balance under the hood. And also you have get bank account, which is exported, and you can test it using this. You may also see necessity of mock part of the module. So you have 4 functions here. You have mock 1, mock 2, mock 3, and unmocked functions. So you need to learn how to mock this module the way you mock this 3 function, but leave initial implementation of unmocked function. You also have some functions that use core Node.js APIs, and you need to be able to test functions that utilize these APIs, and also learn how to work with mock timers. We often need to mock some external libraries APIs. You will be able to do it in 7th module. And also snapshot testing is also important part of testing your code. So you will write 2 different tests. You will need to check that your input, your real output matches expected output without snapshot testing, or you need to check it using snapshot testing. It has some drawbacks. Snapshot testing has its downsides, and it's not always a good option, but you have to know that it exists, and you have to know how to use it. Okay, so now I'm ready for your questions about second assignment. Don't you think 2 tasks are too much? No, I don't think that. We already tested it multiple times, and people usually do it in time if they don't postpone it till the last moment. That's why I told you not to do that. How should we conduct cross-check for basic testing? You have scoring for basic testing. So basically, for each implemented test case, you provide maximal score if test case is implemented correctly, half of the score if it's not implemented correctly, and 0 if test case is not implemented. And you have examples of how bad test case looks, how good test case look, and so on. And you have forfeits for -5 points for each linter warning, -10 points for each linter or TypeScript compiler error, and you have -30% for total task score. Sorry, for commits after deadline. So basically, you will run tests. You will check how many of them are passed, and you will check how many of them are implemented correctly. That's how you grade this assignment. So everything according to the cross-check guidelines. Yeah, I hope I explained. I'm only supposed to follow predefined test scenarios. Yes, you are supposed to follow predefined test scenarios because you have certain amount of points for this task, and if you will have more test scenarios, it will be hard to correctly check your work. No adding extra cases, no improvised case. You can add extra cases in simple CRUD API integration tests. How do we use good bad test examples from assignment? How should we use this score works in cross-check. Okay, maybe we should take a look at example. Okay, we have some function, some positive numbers. Yeah, it accepts two positive numbers and it returns sum. So, good test case. It should test what's described in test case title. Okay, so you can see that it should return null if one of arguments is negative number. Yes, and we provide two positive numbers. That's bad test case because we tell that we check one positive and one negative number, but really we provide two positive numbers. A good one is when we provide what we actually do in test case. Also, good test shouldn't break is functionality that we are testing is broken. Okay, for example, we have function is even. It accepts number, and if this number is even, we return yes, and if number is odd, we return no. Okay, good example. We provide even number and we return yes for it. Bad example. We provide even number and then we check that the result is some string. Yeah. So if we will break this function and return from it, I don't know, full bar without checking number, this test will still pass. This is a flaky test. It has not correct implementation. It's a bad example. Also, test should be stable. I mean, if you run your test multiple times, it should produce same test result. If your test is passed once and the next try is succeed, then it's a good test. And also this good test should be isolated. It shouldn't rely on external data or shouldn't perform external API calls, because this is unit testing. We are on the bottom side of testing pyramid, so we cannot okay, maybe let me show you what I'm talking about on some specific example. It would be easier to understand. Okay, let's drill down to our repository. For example, we have testing of Node.js API. Okay, we have function read file asynchronously, which utilizes file system API. It tries to read file, and if you will, I don't know, create some JavaScript file with this code and run this function, it will read file and it will return its content. So this function interacts with file system, and maybe you think that it's a good idea to check that, I don't know, maybe in test case you can create some file, try to read it using this function and check that it has the same content that you created it with. So this test looks correct, it passes if function doesn't work, but it's not correct from viewpoint of testing methodology, because some other process may overwrite your file content or even remove it, or maybe your Node.js process doesn't have correct permissions to read this file. So code itself is correct, but your Node.js process is run without proper permissions. On unit testing level, we shouldn't rely on any external API. You should check that your function performed necessary checks, that it has correct logic, that it performs some necessary API calls under the hood and returns expected result. But you shouldn't try to reach a real file system. If you are trying to perform integration testing or end-to-end testing, yes, this is correct scenario. You should try to simulate work of your application or real user as much as possible. So this is different level of testing, and there it's correct. At unit testing, you shouldn't work with external APIs and rely on them. I hope I explained what is a good test case and what is the best test case. It is also listed in in some principles for unit testing. Can we use mocks or spy in or for test class module? What is the difference? Okay, I know what is the difference here. You should use spice because you need to check specific methods in these tests. It's better use spice and not try to use some mocks that are not usually not all the time properly connected with real implementation. So if I encounter test marked as bad during my cross check, I should remove half of the point. Yes, correct. I just worried that this might be subjective in some situations depending on reviewer. Please follow these principles. First principles, yeah. Okay, I will leave some remark to check whether test case is a good one or bad one. If you will Google this acronym, it will explain you everything about good and bad tests really better than me. Okay, guys, so we are here together for about 2 hours almost. And I think we covered everything we had for this stream. So many thanks you for your attention, activities, for your works. Yeah, today was a really good one for review. And see you next week. Have a good night. Bye bye. Was glad to see you.